Everyone wonders. There's just so much to wonder about when it comes to life, our world, faith, and even those around us. We wonder about some of life's biggest questions too. Why are we here? Is my existence just one big coincidence? How is it that I'm alive during this moment in history and not during another? Sometimes we even ask, is God actually real? We wonder because we are curious. We spend time daydreaming, processing, and asking questions because we're curious about the way things really work. We want answers, and we crave certainty. There are a lot of ways to talk about faith, and here's what we mean when we say faith is in this series. Faith is a confidence in who God is and how that informs the way we live. And for some people, that feels like the exact opposite of science. This is why, often, for some people, it feels like science and faith cannot coexist. But what if that's not true? In other words, what if we don't wonder if science and faith can coexist? In this series, we're going to take a few weeks to explore if it's possible for science and faith to both play a part in helping us explore the things that we wonder about. To start, we need to go all the way back to the beginning. Not just the beginning of the debates between science and faith. I'm talking about the beginning of everything. Check it out. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, this one sentence is often complicated because we get into all sorts of debates about how this happened. The way everything came to be has been a topic of curiosity for a long time. While there's a lot of debate about where all of creation came into being, it's written in the book of Genesis. See, this one statement isn't an argument against science. Instead, it's meant to indicate that there's a God who's behind everything that exists. This doesn't mean that science shouldn't be something that Christian people leverage to find answers to life's biggest questions. This sentence from Genesis simply is pointing that God is behind that science. Because in reality, the two actually work together in a way that can help us understand more about both. See, science is the pursuit of understanding our world. Both science and faith can work together because both fuel our curiosity. In fact, according to Jesus, using your mind is really important. When he asked what is most important, he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. God doesn't just want us to stop exploring, stop wondering, stop asking questions. Instead, God says, love me with all of your mind. And as we wonder with our minds, we can also remember that the author of Genesis shows us faith is getting to know the God behind it all. Even if we explore science with our minds, we can be confident that we're getting to know the God who created everything. This is how science and faith can coexist. As you explore science, your faith can expand. When you learn or lean into faith, you're using your curiosity about the world to embrace the fact that some parts of life will always be mysterious because the God who created everything is bigger than we can ever imagine. You might not be able to fully understand everything, but as you explore your curiosity using science to get to know the God behind it all even better, plus you discover more mystery that can expand your faith. God and science sort of work the same way. The more science we study, the better we understand how God has done things, and the more questions we have about how and why God has done them. As you experience science, your faith can expand. Most science is aimed at finding certainty about things that we don't currently understand. There's nothing wrong with this desire, as long as we stay humble enough to admit that no matter how much we understand, we realize there will always be mystery because God is bigger than we can understand. Even some of the smartest people who ever lived embrace this idea. Arguably the most famous scientist in history, Albert Einstein, once said this: "The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Whoever does not know it can no longer wonder, no longer marvel, as it is as good as dead in the eyes of the dimmed." His point is that mystery is what keeps us curious, keeps us searching for more. So if we want to begin exploring science in ways that help our faith expand, where do we start? First, be curious. Embrace wonder and mystery, continue to learn, and expand your faith. Imagine if you could go through life exploring the way things worked through science and being okay with not understanding everything, embracing that wonder. That is what's possible when you follow Jesus. That is what it can look like to be a Christian in a time unlikely than any other in history. That is why, as you explore science, your faith can expand.